Hey, Luke here with catsandcarp.com, and I'm going to show you how to catch worms. Now, there's a lot of different ways to catch worms. It's not that hard. We used to do it as little kids. My 3-year-old Tommy can catch worms. But if you want to catch lots of them and you want to catch them in a hurry, well, sometimes it can be a little bit more involved. Now, if you're lucky, after a rainstorm, you can go out on the sidewalk or your driveway and just find them crawling out all over the place. And that's the easy way to catch them. Or you can turn on your sprinklers at night and watch them come up out of your lawn, and that can work. But for whatever reason, it's a little bit harder to catch worms in my area, and I can't always sit around and wait for a rainstorm. So let me show you my favorite ways to catch worms.
The easiest way to catch worms is to just go into the leaf litter and pull it back and expose the wet, damp, decaying matter underneath the leaves. You'll often find worms just right in there, and this is a good way to pick up a couple worms. The downside, though, is this method's inconsistent, and if you want to get a full bucket of worms, it can take hours.
Now, if you always kind of want a ready supply of worms to catch, one thing you can do is lay down bits of cardboard or bits of carpet or sandbags or a piece of plywood. Just lay it down on the grass or someplace that you know, a little bit out of the way, someplace that's moist and dark. And whenever you want to go pick worms, you just pull it up, and usually there's a couple worms underneath it. It traps the moisture underneath. It's just a perfect habitat for worms, especially if there's some decaying plant material under there and good soil. Give it a couple weeks, and every time you need worms, just pick them up, and there you go.
If you want to catch worms in larger numbers without so much prep work, dish soap in a watering can is a great method. Just take some Dawn dish soap or any type of dish soap or shampoo, add it into a watering can, add a bunch of water, shake it up till it's nice and sudsy, and you're ready to go. And what you'll do is you go out to a area with some bare earth, or you can just pull back the leaf litter and expose some bare earth, and then put the soapy water on the ground, and within seconds, worms will start popping up out of the ground. They don't like that soapy water, so they come running out. And it'll take anywhere from a few seconds to a couple minutes for them to come out. And after about 2-3 minutes, all the worms that are going to come out have probably already come out, and you move on to another spot. But this is a lot faster way to get a bunch of worms rather quickly without doing a load of prep work. Just make sure that you use some well water or non-chlorinated water to rinse off your worms. Just kind of rinse them off, get that soap off them, and then make sure you take them out of the water so they don't drown. But this method works best when things are kind of dry, and so the worms are down deeper. It's a good way of getting them to pop up. Worm grunting is probably the coolest way to get worms. You get these grunting sticks, which you can buy or make. You insert the one side into the ground and you rub it. It makes this rattling noise. And that rattling noise drives the worms out of the ground. And it is awesome when it works. It's really kind of a cool, fun way to catch worms. And all you need is these sticks and you're good to go. It's also, for those of you who are a little bit more environmentally conscious, it's a little bit more environmentally friendly because you're not pouring chemicals or soap into the ground. But at any rate, there takes some tricks to it, though. It's best to do this at night or when the ground's really wet or when it's not too sunny. And you got to be quiet. You got to sneak up on the worms. If they hear you stomping around and being loud, they won't come up out of the ground. So you have to be a little bit more stealthy. There's a little bit of technique to it, and the conditions have to be right for it to work. But when it works really well, and it's really cool. And it's kind of like fishing. There's a little bit of a challenge to it. So it's a fun way to catch a lot of worms. You can also worm grunt with a chainsaw. Now, you just take a wooden stake, drive it into the ground, and then idle or rev a chainsaw on top of it, and the vibrations will pop it out. But once again, you have to have the ideal conditions. And when I'm trying it here in this video, it was just too dry and too cold. Doing it at night after a rain is when you really need to do it. The worm taser is probably one of the most high-tech and involved ways of catching worms, but it allows you to catch a load of worms in a hurry. So you take these probes and you plug it into a 120-volt outlet. and you stick them in the ground, and the electricity drives the worms out of the ground, and you can put these probes through the lawn or grass and drive up lots of worms. And so in a few minutes you can get several dozen worms in a good area. So absolutely the fastest way to get worms, but the downside is it takes a little bit of building and construction, so you got to invest some time and money into it. But also, this can kill you if you're not careful. So it's not something I recommend doing. Additionally, it only works with non-GFCI outlets. So if you have a GFCI outlet and you plug this in, it just flips the breaker and won't work. Another great way to catch earthworms is to use this walnut tea. Gather up a bunch of walnuts that you find on the ground, soak them in water for just a minute or two, and it makes this black caustic tea. And it works great to drive worms out of the ground. It's kind of the same principle as the dish soap, but instead of using chemicals that you buy in a store, you're using chemicals that you've made from something in your yard. At any rate, go and you want some exposed ground, so take a rake or find a location where you can see the ground clearly, and all you got to do is just dump this water, this tea on the ground. It doesn't take a lot, just enough to kind of soak in, does the job. And it does not take a lot of time. Within seconds of applying the tea, the worms will come out, and all the worms that are going to come out will have come out within about 2 minutes. So you don't have to wait long watching. But just keep your eyes peeled for anything wiggling and coming out of the ground, and you'll see them. They come out flying right out, just like that. Now, this all works really great, but only if there's a lot of worms in this area. Some areas are better than others, and some places contain loads of big worms and others got only little ones. And so all these methods depend on you finding a place with a lot of earthworms. So looking for places with a lot of worm castings and loose decomposed soil is key. But once you get your worms, you want to rinse them off to get all that walnut tea off them. And you want to be really careful. The downside to this method is, of course, it only works if you have walnuts, but also it stains everything. So you got to make sure you're wearing gloves, and don't get walnut tea on your deck or patio because it'll stain it. Thanks for watching, and here's some other videos you might like, including how to catch catfish with worms and how to catch loads of fish with mashed potatoes. If you like what you see, don't forget to click subscribe. We put out new videos twice a week. Thanks for watching.